The 1950s marked a turning point for British families. After years of wartime austerity and rationing, ordinary households finally began to dream of car ownership. These weren't luxury vehicles or sports cars, they were practical, affordable motors designed for Sunday drives to the seaside, shopping trips into town, and precious family outings. For many, owning a car represented freedom, modernity, and a better life after the hardships of the 1940s. Today, we're counting down 10 family cars that captured the hearts of post-war Britain. These are the vehicles that filled suburban driveways, transported children to their first holidays, and became part of cherished memories. If you love British motoring history, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing to Britain Rewind, and let's take this journey together. Number 10. Standard Vanguard. The Standard Vanguard arrived in 1947 but truly found its stride throughout the 1950s. Built in Coventry at Standard's Canley Works, this was Britain's first post-war car designed specifically for export and domestic family use. The Vanguard featured a 2,088 cubic centimeters four-cylinder engine producing a modest but reliable 68 horsepower, enough to cruise comfortably on Britain's expanding road network. Its spacious interior could seat 6 people across bench-style seating, making it ideal for larger families or those who regularly gave neighbors a lift to church or the shops. The robust construction meant it handled Britain's often poorly maintained roads with ease. For middle-class families aspiring to something beyond basic transport, the Vanguard offered substance without pretension. Its upright styling and dependable nature made it a familiar sight outside suburban semi-detached homes throughout the decade, representing solid British engineering and family values. Number 9. Hillman Minx. The Hillman Minx, produced at the Roots Group factory in Ryton-on-Dunsmore near Coventry, became a staple of 1950s British family life. Introduced in various iterations throughout the decade, the Minx typically featured a 1,265 cubic centimeters side valve engine that offered economical running costs, crucial for families watching every penny. With around 35 horsepower, it wasn't fast, but it was perfectly adequate for town driving and weekend trips to visit relatives. The Minx's compact dimensions made it manageable for drivers still getting accustomed to motoring, whilst its 4-door layout provided practical access for children clambering into the back seats. Inside, the trim was simple but serviceable, with cloth upholstery and basic instrumentation. The Minx represented attainable motoring for working families who'd saved diligently for their first car. Its cheerful presence on British roads symbolized the gradual democratization of car ownership during a decade of growing prosperity. Number 8. Austin A40 Somerset. Austin's Longbridge factory in Birmingham produced the A40 Somerset from 1952, offering families a step up from more basic transport. This traditional-looking saloon housed a 1,200 cubic centimeters engine generating approximately 40 horsepower, providing adequate performance for the era's traffic conditions. The Somerset's strong suit was its spacious cabin, which could comfortably accommodate for adults with proper legroom, a genuine consideration when families regularly travel together for visits or outings. The separate chassis construction gave it a reassuringly solid feel, whilst the column-mounted gear change freed up space between the front seats. For families moving up from motorcycles with sidecars or public transport, the Somerset represented a significant lifestyle improvement. Its conservative styling appealed to respectable middle-class buyers who valued substance over flash. Parked outside a neat suburban home, it quietly announced that its owner had achieved a certain level of security and respectability. Number 7. Ford Consul. When Ford introduced the Consul in 1950 from their Dagenham plant in Essex, they brought modern American-influenced styling to British family motoring. The Consul's 1,508 cubic centimeters four-cylinder engine produced 47 horsepower, making it one of the livelier family cars available. Its 3-speed gearbox was smooth, and the independent front suspension provided a more comfortable ride than many competitors still using outdated beam axles. The Consul's interior featured a bench front seat that could squeeze 3 across, making it a genuine 6-seater for families who needed maximum capacity. The dashboard incorporated integrated instrumentation that looked pleasingly modern compared to traditional British designs. Ford's competitive pricing and extensive dealer network made the Consul accessible to aspiring families across Britain. Its transatlantic styling hints divided opinion, but many appreciated the touch of glamour it brought to post-war British streets, suggesting optimism and forward-thinking during Reconstruction years. Number 6. Vauxhall Wyvern. Vauxhall's Luton factory produced the Wyvern from 1948, with the model evolving throughout the 1950s. Like its stablemate the Velox, the Wyvern bore styling influences from Vauxhall's American parent company, General Motors, giving it a slightly transatlantic appearance that stood out amongst more conservative British designs. The Wyvern typically featured a 1,442 cubic centimeters or 1,508 cubic centimeters engine producing around 40 horsepower, offering reasonable performance with good fuel economy. Its 4-door body provided practical family access, whilst the spacious boot accommodated luggage for those precious annual holidays to Blackpool or the South Coast. The interior trim was straightforward but well finished, reflecting Vauxhall's reputation for solid build quality. For families who wanted something a bit different from the mainstream Austin or Morris offerings, the Wyvern provided an appealing alternative. It represented good value and dependable service for thousands of British households navigating the post-war economic recovery. If you're enjoying this journey through 1950s family motoring, why not give this video a like? It genuinely helps Britain Rewind continue exploring the objects and machines that shaped everyday British life. And if you remember any of these cars from your childhood, please share those memories in the comments below. Number 5. Riley 1.5. For families with slightly deeper pockets and aspirations towards refinement, the Riley 1.5 offered traditional craftsmanship from BMC's Abingdon works. Introduced in 1957, this compact saloon featured a 1,489 cubic centimeters B-series engine producing 50 horsepower, providing sprightly performance compared to more utilitarian offerings. What distinguished the Riley was its quality of finish, walnut dashboard trim, leather upholstery options, and careful attention to detail that recalled pre-war coach building standards. The steering was precise, the ride composed, and the overall experience felt more like a gentleman's car than mere family transport. Professional families, doctors, solicitors, headmasters, appreciated the Riley's understated elegance. It could transport the family to church on Sunday, then convey father to work on Monday without any loss of dignity. The Riley represented that particularly British concept of discreet quality, where true worth was understood by those who knew, without ostentatious display. Number 4. Austin A30. The Austin A30, produced at Longbridge from 1951, revolutionized small family motoring in Britain. This compact saloon introduced monocoque construction to Austin's range, making it lighter and more spacious than traditional separate chassis designs. Its tiny 803 cubic centimeters engine produced just 28 horsepower, but the A30's light weight meant it could still achieve 60 miles per hour and return excellent fuel economy, essential when petrol remained relatively expensive. The 2-door body required some flexibility when loading children into the rear seats, but the surprisingly roomy interior could accommodate for adults for local journeys. The A30's greatest achievement was bringing modern car ownership within reach of families who previously could only afford motorcycles or older pre-war vehicles. Teachers, shopkeepers, and skilled tradesmen found the A30 perfectly suited to their needs. Its cheerful, rounded styling became synonymous with 1950s British optimism, proving that good things genuinely came in small packages. Number 3. Ford Prefect. Ford's Prefect, built at Dagenham throughout the 1950s, became one of Britain's most recognizable family cars. The 100e version, introduced in 1953, featured modern 3-box styling that moved away from the upright pre-war look. Its 1,172 cubic centimeters side valve engine produced 36 horsepower, sufficient for steady family motoring without any sporting pretensions. The Prefect's four-door body was genuinely practical, allowing easy access to both rows of seats, important when handling shopping, children, or elderly relatives. Inside, the trim was basic but hard-wearing, designed to withstand the rigors of family life. Ford's extensive dealer network and competitive pricing made the Prefect accessible to ordinary working families saving towards their first car. It appeared in countless family photographs, parked outside council houses and suburban semis alike, representing the gradual spread of personal mobility across Britain's social classes during a decade of increasing prosperity. Number 2. Morris Oxford. The Morris Oxford Series 2, introduced in 1954 from the Cowley Works near Oxford, brought modern styling and engineering to traditional family motoring. Its 1,489 cubic centimeters B-Series engine produced 50 horsepower, offering respectable performance and reliable service. The Oxford's unitary construction reduced weight whilst maintaining strength, and its spacious interior provided genuine comfort for 4 adults on longer journeys. The boot was capacious enough for proper family luggage, not just weekend bags. Morris's reputation for dependability meant families trusted the Oxford for their annual holiday to Cornwall or Scotland, knowing it would get them there and back without drama. The Oxford appealed particularly to professional families and successful tradesmen who wanted quality without ostentation. Its presence outside a suburban home indicated solid respectability and careful financial management. For thousands of British families, the Morris Oxford represented everything a family car should be: reliable, practical, and thoroughly decent. Number 1. Morris Minor. The Morris Minor stands alone as perhaps the most beloved British family car of the 1950s and beyond. Designed by Alec Isigonis and introduced in 1948, the Minor truly flourished throughout the 50s, becoming an integral part of British street scenes. Built at Cowley, over 1 million examples were eventually produced, testament to its enduring appeal. The Minor's initial 918 cubic centimeters side valve engine was modest, but its lightweight and excellent handling made it genuinely enjoyable to drive. The torsion bar front suspension provided a surprisingly comfortable ride, whilst the rack and pinion steering offered precision rare in cars of its class. What made the Minor special was how it combined economy, practicality, and character. Families genuinely became attached to their Minors, giving them affectionate names and maintaining them carefully for decades. The 2-door and 4-door variants suited different needs, whilst the Traveller Estate version served families requiring extra space. The Minor wasn't the fastest, most luxurious, or most modern car of the 50s, but it possessed an indefinable rightness that captured British hearts. It represented honest engineering, thoughtful design, and the very best of British manufacturing at a time when the nation was rebuilding itself with determination and quiet pride. These 10 family cars did far more than simply transport people from one place to another. They represented freedom after years of restriction, optimism during Reconstruction, and the gradual improvement of ordinary British lives throughout the 1950s. Whether it was the affordable Austin A30 bringing motoring to new social classes, or the beloved Morris Minor earning its place in family hearts across the nation, each vehicle played its part in transforming post-war Britain. For many families, these cars featured in their most treasured memories, first holidays, weekend outings, and those simple Sunday drives that seemed impossibly special at the time. Which of these cars do you remember? Perhaps your family owned one, or you learned to drive in one. Share your memories in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories. Subscribe to Britain Rewind for more journeys through the objects, places, and memories that made Britain what it was. Until next time, keep rewinding.